Welcome to Dr. Roger and Friends, the bright side of longevity, hosted by three Ps in a podcast, Doc Roger, Teresa, and Danielle. Thanks for joining us for Coffee and Conversation.
All right, Avery, so what do you think or feel about what's happening right now?
I feel kind of sad because we can't go on the trips and see friends. But I feel happy that we're more close to family at the house.
You've been listening to Kai speaking with her daughter Avery, age 6, about her feelings regarding the pandemic.
Well, hi, everybody. It's Dr. Roger Landry, and welcome to the bright side of longevity. And I'm here with my illustrious and very smart colleagues, Teresa and Danielle. And, most of our topics have to do with longevity. But recently we've been, because of all the things that we're experiencing with COVID-19, we've been focusing on topics that related to that and all the things that have changed in our lives and how we're adapting. And we've talked to people about how it's affecting their lives, but there's a whole group that we have missed during this time. And we thought we would correct that today. So we reached down and we have a great guest that I've been waiting for anxiously, because I have known him since about 5 minutes after he was born. He is my grandson, Jackson. Jackson lives not too far from me in Long Island. He's 18. He goes to Fairfield University, just finished his first year there. And he's a magnificent athlete and has given me lots of tremendous experiences watching him play. He lives in Long Island with his two brothers and young sister. And Long Island, of course, in New York has been a really hot spot, so they've been really paying attention to the things that they need to do to stay safe. And so, Jackson, we wanted you here today to give your perspective of how this has affected you, your generation, especially, how it's affected your life. I wish I were there with you. I have pictures of you all around me as I sit here, but we'll correct that very soon, hopefully very, very soon. Well, I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues here because I know they have a lot of things they want to ask you, so let's get to it.
Yeah, me first, Jackson. So in general, how would you say that this COVID pandemic has affected you?
Just affected the ways that I just go about normal life. So for me, sports play a big part of that, whether that be playing or watching. So I'm like a big baseball and basketball and football. Football's not going on right now, but baseball was about to start up. Basketball was about to get to the playoffs. So that's like an everyday routine for me. Like I'll go to classes. After that, I'll go play basketball with my friends. We'll do intramurals, stuff like that, go to eat. And then I'll be back in my room doing homework and watching basketball or watching spring training for baseball. So when you go through that like your whole life, and I've been just like a big sports guy and I just love watching stuff, love seeing stats and stuff, to have that all just disappear out of the blue, it's like I have to find something to fill that void now. So then you turn to technology and video games, which are good, but not good enough thing to make up for some of the sports I've been watching or following, I guess.
Yankees.
Yeah,
How am I doing? And
that's a big deal since I'm a Red Sox fan, but we accommodate that.
I can see the dilemma here in this family. And how about basketball, Jackson?
Basketball, I've never really been a big Knicks fan, but I gravitated towards the Warriors since when they started their run like 6 years ago and stuff. So I've been a big follower of them. Bandwagon, people say, but I really like the team. And
they're exciting. It's an exciting team.
It's become my team to root for.
The other coast. That's not geography.
No, yeah, it's kind of crazy in that way. The game times are a little confusing with the 3 hours. But
So this has got to be really stressful that your routine has been upended. And so how have you been coping with all this?
A lot of things. I mean, my sleep schedule has been turned upside down. I mean, I know this is a lot of the same for a lot of my other friends and people my age. It has turned into everyone staying up later and waking up later, starting the day later. So I end up having my first meal at 4 p.m. or something like that on certain days. So it's like a lot of things like that where no motivation to get the day started, because especially with school over and everything, it's mostly just sleep in, watch TV, and then just get everything else done, because it feels like every day is the same in a way. So there's no really routine or so. I mean, I would say most of the time is just spent playing video games, talking to my friends over PlayStation or Xbox. So I mean, it's kind of like a FaceTime, but you don't really get to see their face. But it's become the new normal, I guess. You kind of really miss the hanging out in person, doing the fun things. We talk about it all the time, like different memories we've had. Oh, when we could go outside, when we could do these certain things. So you kind of miss that stuff. And you're just hoping that soon enough that I can come back.
Yeah, it's the good old days, but hopefully they're ahead of us too. So, what do you miss the most, Jackson? I mean, you've already alluded to some of it, but some things must be a little more painful or upsetting or just sort of upending, as you've already alluded to, than others. I think it's related to sports, but any more information on sports or something else that's really been upended?
Yeah, it's definitely like on the surface you could say sports, but like the more and more this has gone by, it's been a couple months without sports now. Like it's kind of got pushed to like where it's a luxury. It's not something that I necessarily need. It's just something that helps me get through my day, and it's something that I enjoy. But it's definitely hanging out with my friends. So it's like in college, I had a couple close friends that I loved hanging out with, my roommate and some other kid. And then especially when we got back to Port and like my high school friends, everyone finishing up college, like we've been like best friends, the 8 of us, for like 7 years now. So it's like having something like that, not being able to looking forward to seeing everybody after this long like year in college when we only could see each other for like a week on like a break or something. It was really looking forward to the summer, planning everything that we could do, and that kind of just been flipped upside down. So it's definitely the in-person hanging out. We've tried to do some stuff as like going to parking lots, everyone sitting on their car just far apart, and we have conversations, but it's like hard to do stuff without being close with people. A lot of the stuff we do is we're all athletes, so we're always like in a pool playing basketball, playing wiffle ball, anything you can think of. So that's really how we have our hangouts and stuff like that. So we definitely missed that a lot.
I'll bet you do. And by the way, when we asked you what you miss most, I know it's me. You're seeing me. You didn't have to mention it, so I'm not offended by the fact that you didn't, Jackson.
Yeah.
It was a trick question, Jackson. It was loaded. I think just observation, I think you're shattering stereotypes right now, Jackson, with your answers, because so many people I think that your average 18-year-old would be perfectly happy quarantined with technology, never logging off. And what you're saying to us is very different message.
Yeah, and it's something that I never thought would happen. Like early on, I loved it. I was fine staying home, and even though sports weren't happening, I couldn't see my friends. I was kind of used to not seeing my high school friends because we were at college. So the conversations I had with them were over FaceTime, over our gaming console, stuff like that. So that was kind of normal in a way. So when I'm at home, I'm more of a homebody, so I love being home. I love being with my family and everything. So it's fun when I can just hang out with them, play a little this. So that was fine at first, but the more and more it's been coming, it's become more of a chore, and it's like, oh, I have to go on today, I have to do this. So it's like hard. And then you switch it up by like watching Netflix and Hulu. So it's like, it's all different stuff that it's gonna a little tiring in a way, and even adding more stuff like Snapchat and Instagram and stuff like that stuff has become my worst enemy. Like I despise all that stuff now. It used to be a nice way you'll see people during the day, you'll talk to them in person, and then you'll Snapchat them or send stuff on Instagram, look at stuff later. But without sports highlights and stuff like that. It's like, what are people even posting anymore? So, I mean, it's kind of gone all downhill for social media wise, for me at least.
What do you like to do?
I like to play with my stuffed animals and have virtual play dates. Once I had a slumber party, but it was virtual.
That was fun. What else do you like to do with your friends on FaceTime?
Me and my friend Sloan, we go in the bathroom and we play animal rescue. We rescue animals.
That's cool. Anything else you want to say about
Not
this
really.
time with coronavirus?
Not really.
Okay.
Jackson, how did, you had to leave school. What was it, March, I guess?
Yeah, so I had my spring break I left for March 7th, and I never went back.
And never went back. So you had classes online, and how'd that all go?
Some were better than others. I mean, I had my accounting and my philosophy class probably went above and beyond and did more stuff than we would ever done in the classroom. We met the same time we normally did. We probably had more online work. The tests moved online and stuff like that, so a little different in that way. But I mean, the 3 other classes, only one met like one time a week. So it ended up being that it was kind of a less of a load in general. The other stuff would just post stuff, whether it be like video bits of them speaking for 20 minutes, but it definitely wasn't for everything.
Not ideal. Even the professors, you like to see them. Most of communications are nonverbal, and even though you could see them, maybe I hope you could. That when you had classes, they were Zoom, right? Were they?
Yeah, they were Zoom, and most of our teachers wanted us to keep our cameras on, be ready to speak at any moment. But especially with the school like Fairfield, like its main thing is not as many kids in classes, more interactions between students and teachers. So like my classes were probably a little bigger than high school size. So it's not like this big state school where you don't really know your professor. Like, all these teachers, they all know their students. So to lose some of that aspect, it's kind of weird for both sides. I'm not sure either one were really like 100% ready for that to happen.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before this call, you were talking about doing some coaching and having to do it virtually. Can you tell us how that's going and what you're doing?
Yeah, so early on, and like a couple weeks ago, PYA, which is our local sports youth organization, started to have some videos be made for different sports. So like they asked my dad to make a baseball video. They were asking others to make basketball. And these were just simple instructional videos, doing some drills and just putting them on their website for families and kids to look at and just look at something that they can do during this time. And me and my dad had the idea that what if we turn this into more of a interactive like coaching session that I've done before. So whether it be working with travel teams in the past, going to their practices and helping out. So I thought it was a good idea to send out emails to coaches and the leaders at the top of the teams, and they could send it out to the parents so that we could figure out something to do with coaching. So we targeted catchers because that's what I played in high school. I was a catcher, and we were just going to try to do some clinics and just talk through stuff and then do some modified drills and stuff like that. Mostly just talk baseball and get these kids up to speed on everything more than just the physical aspect of the game.
That's superb. Very ideal. So what have you learned from all this, Jackson?
It's hard to start, but I guess just appreciate everything more. Like, if you're hanging out with your friends, I already do appreciate every moment, but really like that it could be the last time it's that way. Like, who knows if we'll ever be able to do a lot of the other stuff, or it could be a year, or And looking at it like that, it's like you look forward to the next time, and you just gotta be able to, I mean, I know you've said this your whole life, but like live in the moment and don't focus on everything else. And just the more you can actually live in the moment and not think about video games, your phone, Snapchat, Instagram, the more you can put that behind. And you can do that when you're tired or later in the day, but when you're really living, it's important to just be with people, and really that's probably the biggest part.
Well, Jackson, your whole life you've made me proud, and you didn't disappoint us today. Really gave us a perspective that we hadn't seen before, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your brothers and sister and your parents for you've been in the heat of right in the hot spot in Long Island, and horrible data coming out of there, and you've your adolescence, and you wanted your life to be the way it was, and you could have made it very difficult for your parents, and you didn't. And so I'm very proud of you for all that. You sort of dug in, rolled up your sleeves, and said, we're all in this together. And I just think that's fantastic. I'm really proud of you. Well, for me personally, that was exciting to hear from Jackson's point of view. But I think in general, representing his generation, I think it was very revealing for me. But we also reached out to other ages and just asked for, a very quick response as to what does this all mean to you? And so Elijah, who's age 9, he says, it's fine. I don't mind it so much.
Resilience. Solana, which is his sister, who's age 13, said, the thing I don't like is that I can't be social. Love that.
Wow. Mm.
And this comes from Autumn, age 13. I don't miss not going to school, but I miss field hockey. Online school is rough, and I don't feel like I'm learning as much as I would as if I were in school.
We have said before that being connected to others is in our very DNA. And I have said so many times that technology can help us at times, but it is not a substitute. And I think that these young minds, these young people are telling us that we needn't worry that the technology is going to make them into robots, that they still crave being with other people face to face. Wonderful news.
You've been listening to Dr. Roger and Friends, The Bright Side of Longevity. If you like the show, please rate and review, and be sure to click to follow.